Aigey.
What's up everybody, Aigey here, and today I want to talk to you about the best Overwatch solo carry hero in the game, and how to climb elo by playing something that you want to, if you want to main someone in Overwatch. Now, granted, there are definitely heroes in the game that I don't think you can solo carry with, and I think that there are heroes in the game that you absolutely can, and I'm going to tell you about one of my favorites, Zenyatta. Now, the reason why I consider Zenyatta a solo carry hero is you can play him, you can deal a lot of damage as him if you're consistent, and you can definitely get a lot of heals off in that regard as well. And if you just kind of perfect the way to play the guy and kind of climb with him, then you can definitely make things happen. I made a second account playing only Zenyatta, and I have my primary account where I play kind of exclusively Zenyatta, but I'll switch as needed. However, I feel that Zenyatta is a very strong hero in the game, and you can play him in just about any situation. No one will care that you're playing him, just as long as you play him well and you make the right decisions and you try to save people as best you can. You'll make a lot of people happy, and you'll even make yourself happy. I personally feel that as a diamond player in Overwatch, that Zenyatta is phenomenal for playing solo. I also feel that Roadhog's pretty great for solo, but when it comes to dealing things as far as healing your team, keeping them alive, and trying your best to keep them happy, especially if you've got flankers on your team that are going in constantly, and playing Mercy to put yourself in danger isn't necessarily on the top of your list, then playing Zenyatta can be someone to help you accomplish what you want to, which is to win, while making sure that you're staying safe and not having to get yourself involved in any of the frontline activities that you otherwise would have to. And I absolutely love the feeling of just being able to outshoot people with Zenyatta. Just outgunning people as a Zenyatta player just feels great. It's very satisfying. Being able to outdamage people on your team sometimes is a little frustrating if you're trying to play a game and do well, and then your carries are complaining about other people not dealing damage when you've got gold damage as the carry. And sometimes people won't say anything from a carry perspective if they don't have gold damage when the support has gold damage, and Zenyatta can most definitely make that happen if you're hitting the right targets and if you're consistent with your shots and maintain a high accuracy, which you're not going to see in this particular video. However, if you are able to consistently output damage towards other targets in the game as a Zenyatta player, you're going to do very well. And I love playing the guy. He's tons of fun, at least for my playstyle, and if you like dealing damage, he's great, but if you also want to play healer at the same time, Zenyatta's kind of the perfect balance for that. Whereas with Lucio, it's kind of hard to hit his shots because his projectile speed's a little off and his shots are kind of weird. And with Mercy, you have the option of healing or you have the option of dealing damage. And I would much rather just be able to do both at the same time. Dealing damage and being able to heal at the same time allows you to take some focus off of trying to keep people alive and put it more onto trying to make sure that you're dealing with targets and trying to suppress them in a certain way so that they don't push an objective. Zenyatta has definitely carried me from the 2700 range to the 3k range, and I'm going to see about getting him to master tier. I think that I personally could, and I think that he's definitely probably one of the best solo carry heroes in the game, since that he is able to deal damage and he's able to heal people at a very alarming rate with his ultimate. That is a strong heal on his ult, and he's able to do his best to keep people alive as best he can, along with dealing with Zarya ult burst or Genji damage, or dealing with a Reaper ultimate or a Pharah ultimate. Just a lot of burst damage sort of ultimates he can deal with. But when it comes to things like Junkrat Tire or a nerf this from Diva or anything that instantly kills people immediately with a shitload of damage, then obviously Zenyatta won't be able to protect against that. That's where your secondary healer will come in, like a Mercy or a Lucio with the Break It Down or the Revive if your team gets wiped. Those are definitely things that you need to consider. But when it comes to things like that, usually people will play one of those heroes to help out when they see that you're playing Zenyatta, or people will look at your time on Zenyatta and they won't really necessarily tell you to get off of him, especially if you've got a decent win ratio with him and you deal a lot of damage with him. That's pretty impressive to people. They won't tell you to change ever. So just being good at a particular hero can definitely be good, and sometimes you don't even have to change heroes. Now, I will say that there are some heroes that aren't very strong to play consistently in every situation. For example, Symmetra. Your team might get very mad at you if you decide to play attack Symmetra. They might get super pissed at you to the point where they just throw the game intentionally because they're like, we're going to lose anyway. What's the point in trying? Or sometimes you might be playing Winston when people don't want you to play Winston. But there's different situations. Now, granted, when I see a Winston player, I'm usually pretty happy because that means that Genji and Tracer aren't going to be on me the whole time. But there's different situations for different people all the time, and you can't always be consistent with things going on in the game because things always change every single game. And there are a few heroes that I feel you can play all the time. And I want to know what you guys feel those heroes are. I know I've got my personal opinion about it, but your guys' opinions are definitely great as well, and I would love to hear about them. So go ahead and leave a comment below telling me what you think the solo queue heroes are. I personally feel that there are Roadhog right now. Roadhog is a very strong pick for solo carry, and I also think Zenyatta is a very strong pick for solo carry. So if you play either of those two, then I think you guys should be able to climb, and games usually rely on both of you doing very well at your role. Being able to crowd control with Roadhog, landing those hooks on the high priority targets like a healer, or maybe you get a flanker caught out and killed immediately. That's huge plays by Roadhog. And then Zenyatta just being able to out heal those massive burst damage ultimates from like Reaper or Pharah or a Zarya combo with almost anyone. Just being able to keep people alive as Zenyatta is probably super important as well. And I'm going to definitely try to get Master this season. Go ahead and let me know where you are now and what your goal is, and I'll love to hear from you guys. All right, peace late, everybody.